Hi everyone, welcome to Rick's 1 through 5th scale models. My name is Rick. Today I'm going to be looking at a new model on the market, which it just came out available to purchase and I was able to get one fairly quickly. It's by a model company called Vespid. Now Vespid has done several different World War II era German tanks, a couple of British tanks, different things like that. They've also done a modern Leopard, but those are always in 1/72nd scale. They've never done a 1/35th scale model until now, and that would be the Eagle 4. Now, this is a fairly common vehicle in the German military, but no one has done a plastic model of it. There are some resin kits out there, but this is the first plastic model, which is exciting because so often model companies make the same model and they've all made the same model and they all keep doing it. And it's like, okay, we've got a ton of that vehicle. This is something new, and that's something I find exciting. Plus, I do modern German, and it's modern German. Now, the Eagle 4 is a very widely used vehicle in the German military for lots of different purposes. They have, obviously, the military purposes of it, but they also use it as an ambulance. They use it as a command vehicle. They have a military police unit in it. They have different purposes. Because it's like a lot of these vehicles, you have the front end, which is the crew area, but this back area can be redone in different platforms for different purposes, and that's the nice thing about this. It's a lighter armored vehicle, but it does have a lot of protection for the crew. But let's jump in and look at the vehicle. But before we do that, one thing I do want to mention is this says it's a 2011 production, but there are parts in there that aren't even in the instructions, which tells me they have other versions of this coming out, newer, more updated ones and things like that. But anyway, let's jump in and look at the model.
Okay, so getting into the actual instructions, you've got the box art here, very basic English and then Chinese writing here. You've got two different basic things saying the same thing, I'm assuming. A nice little schematic on what the codes mean within the model. And then you jump into a list of all your parts, different paint codes, the different brands that you might want to use. They have these four listed here. And then you jump into the assembly of the vehicle. Now, as a lot of these models will do, they start with the undercarriage, lower parts, those types of things. And you go into these different steps. I like how they've laid this out. All of this looks real clear. You already start putting PE sheets in here on the undercarriage, and then some little decorative parts like this to make sure you're aligned properly. Going through the undercarriage, the vehicle itself has a lot of detail underneath, and the model itself, I think, portrays that nicely. I think they've really done a good job in looking at real pictures. I'm not seeing things missed in it itself. They do have some neat details here on these different control rods and arms and stuff. And going in to continuing this and then attaching it to the undercarriage, you've got your springs. These are slide mold springs. That's really neat. A PE guard here, which is nice because that's very accurate as far as the scale goes, so it is a nice effect. It's underneath the model. You're not going to see it much, but if you look underneath, you're going to see some amazing detail, and that's one of the things a lot of models don't have, is they just have some big injection molded part that looks okay, but this is going to have that level of detail, which is amazing. Continuing through here, you've got the dash. This is 90% accurate. There are some of the components of the radio that aren't there. These things would be nice. I'm going to end up adding them with resin parts, but there's some parts that sit up on top of this box here, and some microphones, headsets, things like that that aren't in the kit. But other than that, everything's there. The kit also does not have any seatbelt harnessing for the seats. That would have been a nice thing, but that's another pretty simple thing to add in yourself. And then there are some straps and things that hang from the roof and are inside the vehicle. There's lots of pictures online to see what that actually looks like, but those can be added too. Most of that really won't be able to be seen through the windows, but if you have the doors open, you're going to notice it. There are some holes to drill for different aspects here on different parts. Going through, adding all the windshield, those types of parts, and getting into the front end, the different components that go there. All the roof detail. Here's one of the first things that's going to notice something doesn't quite make sense in the instructions. Now, like I said, it's a 2011 vehicle, but every picture I've seen, there's a dome attached here, which is, I'm not sure what it's for. In everything I've read, I haven't found out what it is, but there's a dome there, similar to the Explorer 727, but it's smaller than that. This has the plate as the newer versions have done, where they've actually sealed that off and they don't have that there anymore. That's what this has. So I'm not sure. It says 2011, but every single picture I've seen, there's a dome there. There's no Explorer, but there's something there. So that's one thing that tells me something's not quite right. But as far as the kit goes, the quality and everything are still there. You have all the different aspects for the toolboxes or equipment boxes on the roof, different things there. Great detail. Going through now, they have you either adding or not adding the smoke launcher that sits in the front here. I have pictures with and without it, but all of them have this mounting bracket here, so you can have your option there as to which area you want to do. The other thing I've noticed is some of the older versions of these have a little bit of a different antenna mount. This is the newest, of every picture I found, newest antenna mount system for this vehicle. So that is another part that shows me this isn't necessarily a 2011. It's something that's been upgraded, or depending on when they were doing the upgrading, it was in some component of that. You've got obviously building the MG machine gun setup here that's controlled from inside the vehicle. You've got some great detail on all of this stuff, which gives a really nice result. Going through, continuing on, the doors, pads. This is that component I talked about. I think that they have future projects where they'll change this part here, because the way the instructions go, you build everything else except this is the last thing you do. So if they're going to have other versions of this, this would be the part that would be different more than likely. So that kind of leads me to believe once again that they have future plans for this vehicle, which I hope they do. This is going into building that component here that goes in, and then this is covered by a big storage area, which you have the sidewalls here, kind of like a pickup here. This would be finalizing adding it in. Now you'll see these lines here. That is a mount that the newer versions have, and the Explorer 727 sits right here. Now when I go through the sprue sheets, we're going to see this mount, and we're going to see the Explorer 727. Once again, there's no dome for here. They have this dome here, and on the older versions, this wasn't here either in several of the pictures I've seen. So I don't know the era of these different parts being added and taken away, but that's, like I said, it begs the question as to which version this really is. It's a very accurate model. It's a great model, so please don't say I'm talking badly about it. It's just I ask the questions there. Then you have your different paint schemes here, depending on which era and which area of Afghanistan they were in. This is probably one of my most favorite schemes here, which is the green. You've got the insignias, the flag, all the different markings. One of the neat things also with this model is they have the actual Eagle brand right here, where a lot of models won't put it on. They've got that decal, which I thought was a nice touch. Then you've got the other versions of the coloring paint scheme here, the two-tone brown. Then you've got this tricolor green, sand, and brown here. And then you have your traditional NATO colors. Now, I'm looking at real pictures. This looks like the correct paint scheme. Everything looks right. Here's what I was telling you about the Eagle insignia that's on this. This is a nice touch to them. I appreciate that. I've had other models where they don't put those things on, and it's lacking. So these are 5 large pieces that are pretty much the main outside parts. You've got the lower part of the vehicle. This is the cover in the back. This would be your hood, and then your main cabin area with the details on the inside and on the outside. It's also a real thin plastic. It's strong, but it looks fairly accurate on the scaling size, which is nice to see. The frame, on a lot of models you have to go through an assembly process. This one you don't. They do have some sprue in here to cut out. Make sure you're looking at the instructions and not removing things that stay versus things that don't stay. But this will make the vehicle more square when you finish building it, versus sometimes if you get this all off center, then as you build it, it looks bad. They don't have the motor itself, but they have the lower part, but they have a lot of the different drive gears underneath here. So everything you can actually see, you have. Now you cannot do an open hood version, but everything else is nice. This is sprue sheet B. You're going to have your dash, some of your doors, all 4 of your doors actually. Here would be this part here, which is nowhere in the instructions, but that is and looks identical to an Explorer 727. So that's the part that I was saying it jumped right out. I haven't looked through every single part here and listed them, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's other parts that this model doesn't call for that belong in other parts. You have a really good quality computer screen that goes inside the vehicle for your different military applications. The radio system is fairly accurate. There's no cables that would attach right here that move around, but that's that. You also do not have a microphone that I can find anywhere in here. The headset, and that goes on the other side of this little shelf area, but that's something that you could fairly easily scratch out and add to the model. And it would sit right over here on this side somewhere. And there's another component here, which is a transfer device for different communications that sits up on top of here, and that's not in the kit. But like I said, it's other than that, it's really nice. This is going to be sprue sheet C. This will have parts of the interior and then bumpers. Your MG machine gun here, which is really clear, nice quality. One of the domes that sits on the roof. You've got some of the mounting setups for the roof machine gun. Different delicate parts here. There's slide molding here, here, and here on this, and over here also. And then all this here has also the slide molding, so really good quality. Very little flashing. The other thing is they don't go an overabundance of these little extra plastic parts that are part of the in molding process. They've been really tame on that, so I like how they've done that. It makes it a lot easier for cleanup and production. Plus, these are far enough away to where you can actually cut this without destroying the part. That's another nice thing that they've done. Now this is sprue sheet D. You have 2 of these. You have your seats. You have parts of your suspension system, your other interior parts, wheels, hubs, and all that kind of stuff. Real good fine quality. You don't have a lot of the side flashing on like the smoke launchers and that you have to sand off and make look nice. I appreciate that. Plus they have the accurate depictions of the seat, the way they have the molding, and then some of them are smooth. That's another neat thing they've done here. This is sprue sheet A. You're going to have all of your undercarriage supports, your brakes, your brake hubs, some of the differentials, transmissions. One of the neat things that I know people have talked about is it says Allison, the brand name, right here on this part. Like I said, I appreciate when they actually put the brand names, because that's what the real ones have. So this has all that. Really good quality casting. Once again, this is far enough away you can cut these parts off without destroying the part, and they aren't overabundant of these little parts you have to cut off after the casting to make sure all the styrene gets everywhere for the molding process. This is part F. There's only one. You've got a tow rod here, and then your fender protectors here on the sides, and then this is part of the roof supports for like handrails, things like that. This is your PE sheet. It is real thin. It's a good hardness to where it's hard enough to hold its shape, but soft enough to bend fairly simply and not break them. They do have the plastic covering over it to protect it. There are 46 pieces listed here, but multiple of them have multiple parts under the same number. So there's over 50 PE sheet parts here, which makes it a lot, obviously, for a model. Most don't have that many. Some of the plates on the roof and different covers are made of the PE, which is nice. This is that one dome that I said is missing. Here's the cover, the mounting bolt bracket that would attach here. Well, it's not. There's nothing attached to that, so it's just sitting there loose on top of some of your protective plates and things like that. Really nice job there on that. Lots of extra detail to be added to really dress up the model nicely. So here you're going to have your decal sheet. They don't have any license plates, so you have to actually add the numbers in to what license plate you want. So that's kind of a challenge. But you have your decal for the eagle. You have your European bumper marker here. You've got the German flag with the Islamic writing, and then without, you have the different campaign markings, your Iron Cross, the weight classification, computer screens, and that here, along with some of these real small decals that go throughout the vehicle. Here would be your rear view mirror sheet. They've added one of these in, so you actually have a really nice looking rear view mirror. And they added in the masking sheet to mask up the windows for painting, which is another nice thing. This would be the sheet that has your clear glass. I've left it in the plastic so I don't scratch it. I can polish them, but I hate having to do it, so I left them in here. You've got your front windshield, side windows, headlights, tail lights, and then some of the other parts here. I'm not sure what they are at this point, but they're really nice. Lastly, you're going to have 4 tires. Now they're a real soft, hollowed out inside tire. They have 2 options when you buy this model. You can buy it with these tires, or you can get resin ones that are what they call sagging, so they've got the little bit of a squash on the bottom area. What is neat about these is, trying to get the lighting right, you have all of the details here. Manufacturer markings, things like that. Very, very, very high quality. And then you don't have all the seams and casting lines that a lot of these have. So definitely above the top on this. Very, very impressed with this overall quality. I did not see the resin version, but the pictures I saw, I could see something on them, so I'm assuming they're of equal or better quality than this.
So that's the kit. I think it's an amazing looking kit. I'm very excited to start building it. In fact, right after I stop this video, get done editing it, and post it, I'm starting on the build. That will be coming out soon on the whole how it went building it. I'm still debating on, do I want to do the Afghanistan version, or do I want to do it NATO tricolor green, brown, and black. I'll take opinions from anybody, so please let me know. When you go with the Afghanistan, as you can see, there were several different paint schemes, but I'm not sure which one I want to go with. I'm kind of excited with all of it. Either way, this is going to happen. It's going to be a nice build. It looks like a great model, and I'm hoping that Vespid brings out more models in 1/35 scale, because this, I think, is going to be an amazing build. I also have other reviews coming out soon, such as the ICM Unimog radio truck. This is another great kit. That video will be coming out real soon. Anyway, everyone, please like, subscribe, get me on Facebook. If you have any questions or comments, ask away. I'll get back to you as fast as possible. If you like what I do, hit the like button. If you don't like what I do, let me know so I can do a better job next time. Please subscribe, as I said. Everyone, take care, happy modeling, and see you soon. Bye-bye.